Hello, my name is Jeremy Barnes, and today I'm going to do a video on my most anticipated movies of 2024. And I'm going to rank them in order of my most anticipated to least anticipated. So I'm going to just go ahead and start off with number one, which was originally supposed to come out in 2024, but due to the strikes in Hollywood, might be pushed to 2025, but it is still possible to come out this year. Because it was supposed to come out March of this year originally. Um, but due to the strikes, everything kind of got delayed. But they might be able to like do everything they need to do, which I would probably just guess is mostly just the voiceover work if they haven't recorded the lines yet. Because it's an animated movie and the sequel to my favorite movie of 2023, which was Across the Spider-Verse. So number one is Beyond the Spider-Verse. And I'm assuming most of the animation is done, but obviously they are probably always working on it. Because like the last one was crazy in terms of what they did with it, the animation side of it. So it's unlikely to come out this year, but I still wanted to include it on this list just in case. Um, yeah, so I don't have much to say about it. Um, Check out my review for Across the Spider-Verse and you'll know why this one's number one on my list of most anticipated. Number two on my list is Deadpool 3, which is going to be the MCU's only superhero movie coming out this year. Well, only movie coming out this year. Um, and that one is due out in July 26th. Uh, and it's going to be, I think, a bit of a farewell to the Fox X-Men universe and Deadpool's introduction into the MCU, which will still, I think, kind of be in its own bubble like he always was in the Fox universe, but also incorporating elements that we would not have seen if it wasn't in the MCU now. And those elements I am pretty excited about. So, Hugh Jackman's coming back as Wolverine, which is dope. Never would have thought he would ever come back after Logan, but this is going to take place at a different time and they have claimed to not be messing with the timeline of what we saw in Logan. So hopefully they are true to their word and they don't fuck with that because that shit was his perfect send off. And I do hope we see a better ending to the X Men Fox universe than we saw with Dark Phoenix, which was the worst X Men movie ever, and they should have just never made that movie. But Deadpool's awesome. Wolverine's awesome. He's getting his yellow suit. What can we not be excited by? So number three on my list is Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, which is due out April 12th, and I'm excited for that one because I was like pleasantly surprised at how much I actually loved Godzilla versus Kong. I was not expecting to like the human side of that story as much as I did, but I actually did enjoy it way more than the previous Godzilla movie, which was King of the Monsters, which was actually my least favorite of the MonsterVerse franchise. And the thing that hooked me in Godzilla versus Kong was Gia, the new character who was Kong's companion in the modern age. And she's going to be coming back in this movie. And there's also going to be introducing some more lore to Hollow Earth and introducing a new adversary of Kong specifically with the Scar King. So I'm looking forward to that. He's an even bigger ape than Kong is, which is surprising. And now Godzilla and Kong, after the end of Godzilla versus Kong, are gonna team up like they did against Mecha Godzilla, which was also a pretty cool surprise in that movie. Um, so I'm really excited for that. The MonsterVerse is actually my second favorite franchise currently after the MCU. So I'm kind of all in. I just started watching Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I'm like about halfway through, and I've been enjoying it so far. It's been kind of a lot actually, like kind of hard to follow with all the different like time periods that they're showing us, and just keeping track of all that. It's a lot smarter than the movies have been. Um, the best one of the Godzilla movies in the MonsterVerse US side of things is the first one, in my opinion. But I think I like Kong Skull Island. I think I prefer Kong over Godzilla overall. Um, so yeah, and especially Godzilla versus Kong, I think made me like Kong even more. Because I think I was originally rooting for Godzilla in that movie, but I ended up coming out on Kong's side overall. So I am glad that this is going to be mostly a Kong movie this time around. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Number four on my list is Furiosa, which is a Mad Max prequel um, from Fury Road, which was an amazing movie. And the trailer for this was really fucking dope. I didn't do a reaction because I saw the trailer for the first time in the theaters, I think. Oh wait, did I? Actually, I'm not sure, but I didn't do a reaction for the trailer, but it was really dope. And Chris Hemsworth's gonna be in it as a bad character, and he looks like he's having a blast in the movie, and is gonna be really cool. And Furiosa just looks like a badass, just like she was in Fury Road. So I'm super excited for it. I didn't mention who made Furiosa, but it's George Miller, who did Fury Road as well. Um, Number five on my list is another kind of visionary filmmaker with Denis Villeneuve, Dune Part 2. But Dune Part 2 looks just as good as Dune Part 1 was, which I did really enjoy a lot, but I didn't like it as much as I thought, maybe kind of thought I would like it. But this one looks like it's gonna be even better, and I'm actually super excited for it. Definitely more excited than I was for the first part. And I am not familiar with Dune. I wasn't familiar with Dune at all before watching that first movie. So I'm gonna go in knowing like nothing about the novel. So I'm curious to find out what's going on with like the whole kind of chosen one thing that they have going on, and how it's kind of like propaganda that they're using to kind of unite people to do their bidding, the people that are in charge. So I'm really curious about that side of the story. And just the action looks epic. So it's top five of my most anticipated of the year. Um, Number six is another ape movie, which is the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I was surprised by. I did not know we were getting another one of these movies. And when the trailer first dropped, I was like, "What the hell? There's another Planet of the Apes movie coming out." And oh yeah, my bad. I didn't mention the dates for the other movies that I mentioned. Um, Furiosa is coming out May 24th, which is actually the same time that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out. And Dune Part 2 is the soonest of all of these so far, and that one's coming out March 1st, 2024. So yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is gonna be like kind of a new part of the timeline of the Planet of the Apes franchise. So it's not going to be a direct sequel of um, War for the Planet of the Apes, which was the last of the kind of modern trilogy, which is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Rise of the Planet of the Apes was my favorite. Um, and I think it kind of went in order, actually. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was my second favorite, and then War was my least favorite. Um, but that saw the arc of Caesar, and spoilers for the end of War for the Planet of the Apes, but Caesar dies at the end of that movie. So originally, when I saw this trailer, I thought it was going to be a direct continuation with Caesar's son, who I believe was called Cornelius, which is a name from the original series. But this one is not going to be involving him. It's going to be involving a new character who I believe is called Noah and Noe, and it looks kind of more in line with the timeline of the original series of Planet of the Apes movies from the well, I think it was the 70s that they came out. Um, so I'm interested to see basically like kind of like a remake of those ones, even though I don't know the exact time period. Like I don't know if it is still before the events of the original Planet of the Apes movie, but it is definitely closer to that than I think it is to the Planet of the Apes trilogy from our modern times. Um, so far, it hasn't had me super hooked from the trailer, but I am at least like interested in seeing it. That's why it's not in my top five, but I am still really excited for it, and hopefully, it's as good as those other movies have been. Um, Now, number seven on my list is a new horror movie that's coming out pretty soon, March 8th, which is Imaginary, which is about a kind of possessed teddy bear, I think, who um, people in the little girl's life who kind of owns the teddy bear thinks is just her imaginary friend, but it's not. It's an actual like living spirit who has possessed this bear, and it actually looks pretty creepy. And horror has been one of my favorite genres of like recent times. I think my adult life. So this is the only one that I know about that has really stuck out so far for me coming up soon. And yeah, I'm actually really excited. It's from Blumhouse, which has been really good. So I'm looking forward to this one. It is number seven on my list. Number eight is kind of a surprise for me. I didn't know that it was a series before, but I just saw the trailer for it in theaters, and it looked really fun and really cool. It's The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. And Ryan Gosling was just in one of my other favorite super fun movies of 2023, which was Barbie, and he looks to be bringing a similar sort of energy in this movie as well. I haven't seen some of his other movies where he kind of does that really well, just those like kind of fun action comedy sort of things. But I'm definitely looking forward to see what he does here. And it's also made by another filmmaker that I really enjoy, who is David Leitch, who made Bullet Train, and I think before that, think he did, I think he did Deadpool 2 actually, and maybe Atomic Blonde. Don't quote me on that, but I think he made all of those movies, and I've been a fan of his work. If so, but either way, I like Bullet Train, which I know for sure he did. That was his last movie. So I'm excited for this one. And Bullet Train was also a lot of fun. So he's got a good sense of action kind of comedy. So yeah, I'm excited for the Fall Guy. Never thought it would have been like on my list of most anticipated movies, but it is. So that's my number. What did I say? I think that's number eight. And number nine on my list is Joker 2. Um, I'm not gonna pronounce it right, but I'm gonna try to say with the title, which is uh, Folie, um, which is gonna introduce Lady Gaga as this universe's Harley Quinn. And this is the only DC movie coming out in 2024, and it's in an Elseworlds sort of thing, since the Joker was just its own universe, and it'll be kind of a nice like intermission between the DC extended universe before we get the reboot of the DC universe in 2025. Um, so yeah, I really like the first one a lot. Uh, so I'm excited for it. We still haven't seen any like footage of it, but we've seen images, and the images have been interesting. And I'm curious to see Lady Gaga's portrayal of Harley Quinn. It'll be the second live action Harley Quinn that we see. So we'll have a kind of a comparison point with Margot Robbie. Um, and it's going to be a musical, which makes sense on why Lady Gaga would be cast in it. And The first movie I know was produced by Bradley Cooper, who obviously worked with Lady Gaga on A Star Is Born. I'm not sure if he's continuing to be involved in this one, but I'd assume he is. So that's another reason why she's probably in the movie. Um, and I just hope that it kind of matches the style of that first one, but also does something new with it. I just hope that the musical side of it doesn't overtake it too much, because I'm not the biggest fan of musicals myself, but I have enjoyed a few musicals, so as long as it does what I kind of wanted to do, which is not lose that essence of the first one, while introducing this musical side, I think I'll be happy with it. But we'll see. That one is due out October 4th, so we're not going to be getting it for a while. The Fall Guy was May 3rd, 2024. And then number 10 on my list, I have no kind of conception of it, but I am going to include it because it is A Quiet Place Day One, a prequel kind of to the A Quiet Place franchise, which has two parts so far. And I'm including it because I really like both of the first two movies. This one's going to be a completely different story though, and that's why it's very at the very bottom of my list, because it could not be as good since it's entirely a new thing, but it's going to be kind of covering, as the title would suggest, the first day of the kind of apocalypse, with a new cast of characters. But I think it's going to be starring Lupita Nyong'o, who was awesome in the horror genre in Us, Jordan Peele's film. So I'm excited to see her return to the genre. And this is coming out June 28th, or at least it's supposed to. And I think it's also starring, I think the guy from Stranger Things, season 4, I think it was, um, the dude who played the guitar, Joseph Quinn. Um, and obviously Stranger Things is also in the horror genre. So it's not, I think, as horror as any Jordan Peele film. So this will be kind of a little bit different, I think, for him. But maybe he might be playing a similar kind of more comedic role. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I literally know nothing about it. I didn't even know it was coming out until I like did some research on 2024 movies that are supposed to come out. Um, yeah, I had no idea about it, but I'm excited about it. And actually, Jordan Peele, I think, is supposed to be coming out with a new movie as well in 2024. Maybe, maybe not until 2025. But because I have no idea at all what it is yet, well, I can't include it on my list. But I am excited for his next movie because I have loved all of the movies he's done so far. And Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o, was actually my favorite of his three movies so far. Um, so yeah. Anyway, there are some other movies that I know about that I am interested in seeing as well, but they're not on my most anticipated list. But I still wanna include them here in some form. Coming out February 2nd is Argylle, a kind of fun spy action movie, or action spy movie, I guess I should say. And that's from Matthew Vaughn, who made the Kingsman movies. Um, Looks like a lot of fun. It has a pretty solid cast with Henry Cavill, Samuel L. Jackson, who also worked on the Kingsman movies. Um, I don't know why I want to say Justin Hammer. Sam Rockwell, who played Justin Hammer in the Iron Man movies. Um, and then Dua Lipa, who has kind of come into acting now. She was in the Barbie movie as a small role too, 2023. Um, but yeah, it just looks like a really fun movie, so I'm curious in checking it out. And it's gonna be kind of a mystery on like who this person is, Argylle, as like a real person, but it's following Sam Rockwell's character, who's kind of protecting this writer who's writing like about like kind of spy novels. So it's kind of interesting. Kind of reminds me of a movie that I saw. I don't think it was last year, but maybe in 2022. Um, the Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, where she was a writer and he was like an actor of a movie that was adapting one of her novels, but he ends up like kind of helping her kind of get through the jungle. Um, Kind of reminds me of that, and that movie was fun too. So I'm curious to see this one. I also heard that there's a new Transformers movie coming out called High Moon, which I'm assuming is a sequel to the one that came out was it last year? I think it was. Um, what was it? Rise of the Beasts, which that one I didn't quite like as much as some of the OG Transformers movies or Bumblebee, which is set in this new kind of timeline. But hopefully this one kind of goes back to what Bumblebee did so well, or just kind of goes even farther with the Transformer side of it. Like I don't need to see the human stuff really at all. Just give me some more Transformers action and make their characters shine, and it'll be dope. But I am kind of getting more excited for the Transformers franchise than I was at the end of the previous one with Mark Wahlberg. So I'm hoping for the best for it. And then I also heard that there's supposed to be a new Lord of the Rings movie, which is crazy. I had no idea about that either until I did my research. But I started getting into the Lord of the Rings franchise with the Rings of Power prequel, and I really like that. And I watched the Hobbit trilogy, which I also really enjoyed. I still have not actually jumped into the core Lord of the Rings, but I'm assuming maybe this one is supposed to be after the third film. So I'm gonna continue watching those, that original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then maybe I'll be even more excited for this one. Hopefully, it ends up being as good as the Lord of the Rings films are loved. Um, and then there's supposed to be a Karate Kid movie as well, which I had heard about when they did the last season of Cobra Kai, um, which I think was the end of that show, right? I don't know for sure, but I heard rumors supposedly they're supposed to be bringing in like not only Danielson, but also the Jackie Chan version of the movie somehow, which that kind of made me less excited about it, but it kind of made me more interested in it because they're gonna be kind of crossing over in some way. And I had no indication. I don't think there was any indication that they were in the same kind of continuity, but sounds kind of interesting. So I'm still kind of looking forward to it. And Cobra Kai was awesome. So if it's a continuation of that, I'm hopeful for it. And then another movie that I'm interested in is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 because I enjoyed the first two. They're really fun movies. Definitely more geared towards kids, but I enjoyed them as well. And I am a Sonic fan. I was not ever like a huge player of the Sonic games, but I always thought he was just a cool character, just visually. And I've seen like the Super Sonic, kind of like the Super Saiyan in the Sonic universe, and it was cool seeing that in the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And Knuckles was awesome in the second one, and now they're gonna be introducing Shadow, which I also thought was really cool. I used to always draw the Sonic characters, like that was kind of my only really kind of stake in the fandom. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this one turns out. Uh, and yeah, so there's that. And I also want to mention some TV shows coming out this year that I'm excited about. Number one in my TV show list is The Boys season 4. The Boys has been like one of my favorite shows in recent times. Um, it's been super awesome. I like the like very grounded and realistic take on heroes and how people with these powers would probably not be heroes. They would be just in it for their own gain, for money and fame, and how corporations would definitely be using them for monetary gain as well. And yeah, it's just been really cool franchise. I saw the spin-off last year of Gen V, and it was way better than I would have expected it could have been. So that made me even more excited for season four. And the trailer of that one looked super cinematic, so I'm excited to check it out. Number two on my list is actually coming out in just a few days, which is Echo from Marvel. Their only really confirmed 2024 live action show. Um, and it's going to be our first foray kind of back into the Netflix style of TV shows in Marvel and the first rated M show in the MCU. So it's getting exciting now to see that, to see Daredevil back in a big way, Kingpin get his due after they did him dirty in Hawkeye. So I'm super excited for it. And then Invincible season two, the rest of that season two, after that first part that we got in 2023, I'm excited to see the rest of it, and I'm probably gonna like binge the entire show from season one through season two when the new episodes start coming out. So I'm excited for it. It's also really good. I still think I prefer The Boys overall over Invincible, even though I think Invincible is probably objectively better. Um, but I don't know. I think Invincible is just a bit much for me. Like I don't even remember a lot of the first season. There's just so many characters. Um, so that's kind of why I want to do a recap. And then a new show coming out is Fallout, which is another video game adaptation after last year's The Last of Us HBO series, and this one's also on Prime, just like Invincible and The Boys. So Prime's really fucking killing it with their TV, in my opinion, lately. And Fallout looks really fucking dope. I never played the game, but the show looks really cool and really interesting. So I'm curious to check it out, and I will be checking it out. That one's the premiere is scheduled for April 12th. So um, yeah, I'm excited for that. And I don't know if Stranger Things season five, the final season, is supposed to come out this year, especially like after the delays with the Hollywood strikes. But if it is, that would also be on my list of like most anticipated TV shows of the year. But honestly, I think it might be last. I think it might be below all of these ones, even though Stranger Things has been one of my favorite Netflix shows. Um, just because I think it's been so long that I don't really feel the hype kind of like really as fresh. But when they release a trailer, I'll probably get hyped again for it. So yeah, those are the movies and TV shows I'm looking forward to seeing in 2024 that I am currently aware of. Let me know if there's any others that you know might be coming out that I might be interested in, and what you're looking forward to in this year. So thank you for watching. Catch you next time, and peace.